Hi, we're back for problem 510 on page 77 of your book. And in this case, we're looking at a firm that's classified its customers in two ways. One, according to whether the account is overdue or not, and that's column B. Well, B is overdue, C is not overdue. And then part 2, according to whether the account is new, less than 12 months old or old. And we have the probabilities given there. So right in that chart. The only thing I want to do is add in the totals for both the rows and the columns. And I'll center that. And if I auto sum, add those together, and notice that percentage here is 0.58, 0.42, which is going to equal 1, and we'll do the same calculation over here for the rows, 19, and it's going to be 81, and here I'll auto sum, and it'll bring it to 1. So in this case, those totals can be helpful. For A, if the account is overdue, what is the probability that it's new? So the given is, if it's overdue, what's the probability that it's new? So the way we're going to calculate is we're just going to go equal to new divided by the total, which is going to give us 0.103448, and probably want to reduce that to like 0.103. So the first is that it's new and overdue. If I click up here, I can see it highlighted. So here we have new and overdue divided by the probability of it being overdue, which is 0.58, and that gives us the joint probability of 0.103. And for part B, what we have is, if the account is new, so that's going to be in the row, and then what is the probability that it's overdue? So in this case, to calculate that, we're going to put in the probability of it being new and overdue out of the total probability of it being new, and we get 3.1, and if we, wrong way, go down to just 3 decimal places, we see that it's 0.316. Again, if I click up here, we put the probability of new and overdue in the numerator divided by the probability of new in the denominator, and that gives us the probability of 0.316. And now it's a little trickier. We need to figure out, is the age of the account related to whether it's excuse me, overdue? And we can see that here. Sorry that I took a little break. I was coughing. Sorry about that. So we're trying to answer questions, or part C. Is the age of the account related to whether it's overdue or not, and explain. And we can see that the probability of an account being new is 0.19, but which is not equal to the probability of it being new and overdue. The other thing you can also consider is just compare the overdue, and you see that the new and overdue is significantly less than the old and overdue. So again, those things both give an indication that the age of the account is related to whether it's overdue or not. The older the account, the more likely it is to be overdue. Alright, I want to show you something else here that we're going to use in 512 and 518, which is probability trees. And you don't have to do those in Excel, but it can be kind of a nice way to do the probability tree, at least if you know the little trick I'm about to show you. So I'm going to go here to Insert, and there's an Insert Shape here. If I click on that, I'm just going to select the line. And now I can pick a spot, and I'll just pick right here between line 9 and 10, and just draw up to say here, and put a line in that way. And now I'm on the format because I've got a line selected, and I can click the line again. And if I go right over that spot again, I can draw another line down right here. And I'm going to use the crosshairs to line up with the cell lines there. And so I've got another line in place. And again, to continue to draw this tree, I just click line again. If I hold down my Shift key, I'll get a perfectly straight line, which is sort of nice to be able to do. And again, I just click line again. And if I wait for the red dot to appear, that's a nice indication. Hold down my Shift, click and drag. So that gives me a second leg of this. Now if I clicked off on a regular cell somewhere, now I don't see that Format tab anymore. I just need to click on one of those lines and it'll appear again. And now let's add another branch to the tree. So going from this spot, I'm just going to branch up one here. I'm going to click line again, branch down, do that to the second tree. And again, to add another line on there, I'm just going to hold down the Shift key like so. I just got to keep going back to click the line to get that. And if I hold the Shift key, I won't get a crooked line. So that is a very handy little trick. Just use the Shift key. And if for some reason I didn't quite line up something correctly initially, I can just move it slightly till I get it back where I want it. I'm going to click the line again, hold down my Shift key, and I could arrow up slightly to put that right over the cell. And now here I could put in probability of whatever x is equal to, say, 0.4. Down here, the probability of x. I'm going to put a C here for the complement of it, close the parenthesis, and then I'm going to go up here and highlight the C, and now go into this font group. So Format Cells, launch that, and click Superscript, which is going to pop that C up higher. Watch what happens. And what that refers to then is the complement. So if you were given that the probability of x was 0.4, then the complement of that is going to be 0.6 with only 2 branches. And then we can go from there and say, okay, it branches both of these places, and what's the probability of this? And you could make something up there. But I just wanted to show you a way that you could draw a probability tree, because we're about to do that in 5.12 and 5.18.